Hello, good evening, and welcome to Intuitive Play. So, if you're joining me, please go and say hi and where you're joining from, and tell me a little bit about how you're doing today. And then, of course, also the number card that you've chosen for this evening as well. So excited to be here with you. Beautiful time right now. We're in a waxing phase of the moon, which is always an uplifting time, uplifting energy, and kind of an enlightening space that's being created right now. So right now, it really a great time to bring in ideas, new thoughts, and just kind of focus on how your thoughts are located in your emotional state and where it all sits with you and how the new patterns, new ideas are forming and how they're coming into your life and into your space. How are you developing from this space, from the new moon and now in this waxing phase of the moon? And what will it represent for you with a new energy coming through? So curious to hear from you. So yeah, let me know how you're all doing. And hi, Debbie, welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. And yeah, this should be a lot of fun tonight. I have chosen the Lenormand cards. And this deck specifically here is a Celtic Lenormand deck, which I really love. So far I have so many different decks, and this one here really connects with me. I think just because it has a little bit of the Celtic influence, and obviously for me coming from Germany, it just feels very home, and I like the design on it. And this one is a little bit different because it has not the tradition as far as just one person, one alignment for different things, but it has like a variety within the different cards. And so it's very interesting how this card deck is structured. So again, it's not necessarily the traditional Lenormand card deck, but I really absolutely love it. So hybrid, happy Wednesday. Tuning in from Florida. Well, I'm tuning in here from Tennessee. So excited to have you here. And yeah, let me know how you're doing. How has this day been for you? How has the week been for you? And then, of course, let me know what cards you have chosen. So we did a tally, and we had 7 people that chose card number 1. We had 12 people that chose card number 2 and 17 people who chose card number 3. So, hey, Kathy, hi, welcome. And so tonight, definitely card number 3 is kind of like the main one. So I'm curious to see who's going to be tuning in and who picked what. And then please go ahead and let me know. Of course, I always read your comments, but I don't necessarily remember what cards you've picked. So hi, Rhonda, welcome. Thanks for joining. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get started. In case you don't know me, my name is Silke, and I'm an energy healer, hypnotherapist, spiritual teacher, and I love helping women align themselves with their highest soul path and really help them move forward in their life to where they can feel fully fulfilled and stepping into their highest soul purpose. And Rhonda, let's see, where do I look for the cards? Okay, so if you're looking on the same page where this live is right now, if you're on my Silke's art page, the cards will be listed in a separate post, either above or below right now. So probably, since this is the dominant thing at the moment on my page, so on my Facebook page, just go ahead and look for them right there on the Silke's art page directly. And you'll find the post with the 3 different cards, and you'll see lots of comments underneath it from everyone who has picked the cards, and you'll be able to find it there. So Debbie says she picked card number 3, the very last minute. So tell me about the process of picking your cards. How do you tune into your intuition? Because obviously this is all about intuitive play. So I'm always curious to see how everyone is tuning in, with their own intuition. How do you find that guidance in you? What is it for you? And it's different for each person because we all come in with the different qualities. So for you, it might be that you're sensing it more. Maybe it's a gut feeling. Maybe it's just more intuitive knowing. So what is it for you? Always curious, to see how you tune into your intuition. And obviously this is about strengthening your intuition as well. So Heather, hi, welcome. And Heather says she picked card number 1. And let's see, outside feeding the deer. Cool. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Pulling corn out for them. Whoa, snowing. It is snowing. Oh my gosh, I have not really looked outside right now. I know it's raining at the moment, but I have the curtains closed at the moment, so I know it's raining. So if it's snowing, don't see it right now because it's dark. Okay, I'll have to check later. So if it's snowing there where you are, then there's a pretty good chance that we're having it too. Okay, Kathy says, okay. To me, the second card actually appeared a little bit clearer visually. That's a really great point to just kind of focus in on that. So again, yeah, it's always interesting to hear and see. For me, I think it started out more with feeling. And then as I was growing and developing my own intuitive insights and gifts, I think it starts coming in different ways. So very much a knowing most of the time, just intuitively. And then now it's coming in through all the different clairs as I'm developing the different clairs more and more. It's kind of interesting just to see, what tends to go a little bit more into the background and what tends to take more dominance as well. So Rhonda says she picked card number 2. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started because I'm sure you're ready and I'm sure you're waiting. So let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. All right. And again, if you have not, if you're tuning in and you maybe haven't responded yet to what card you've picked, if you have card number 1, go ahead and let me know. And then also how this applies to you. And if you're watching the replay, of course, you can still go ahead and jump in as well. So let's see. Britt says, I heard 2 for you, but today's, oh, that's awesome. I love it. Very cool. So you're hearing, that's amazing. That's wonderful. Okay, so card number 1 is the clouds. And I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. So again, I absolutely love this deck. It's such beautiful graphics for sure. And the clouds are not necessarily the easiest one to have. So again, if you picked number 1, if you're tuning in live or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and let me know. And then again, how it applies to you. So the clouds, of course, you have a white cloud here, and then you also have more of a dark cloud kind of coming in. So when you have the clouds in this particular deck, then it's really more about maybe some confusion in your life, definitely polarity, not quite sure about a situation or something that you're facing in general as far as like where it's heading. It's like some intangible delay, maybe something where you're stuck in a situation, you're not quite sure how to get a grasp on it yet, so kind of like those gloomy clouds a little bit coming in. But again, just know and trust that life happens for you. And even though, this might be surrounding you at the moment, and it's kind of hard to get an overview of really understanding the meaning in the situation, just trusting and knowing that there will be clarity eventually, even if it's not showing up yet, and that you have made some kind of agreement on the soul level to go through the situation and then to rise above it in the end, and know that you'll always fall into something more beautiful. Sometimes we just kind of have to allow the situation to evolve and let it go and release any thoughts of outcome around it. And that's really the most helpful thing overall, to not be attached to a particular situation and not necessarily being attached to a certain outcome of what we're expecting, but let go and let God and, kind of trust that there is a path laid out for you. So again, if you've picked this one here, card number 1, and it is the cloud, most likely it is because there is some situation where you can't quite see clarity. Maybe there's even kind of a gloomy feeling. Sometimes, worst case scenario can actually be a depression, but doesn't have to be that drastic either. But many times it's just a little bit of a situation where you kind of have to sit with things, and it might be even sitting in discomfort and being okay with sitting in discomfort, and then seeing where it leads you in the end and what the reason was behind it. Because again, when we're in the middle of a situation, many times we can't really see past it yet until it presents itself to us more clearly. So trust and know that there is going to be guidance throughout, that you always have that support system, and that there will be a solution and something will present itself that will make sense in the end. And I did write down the affirmations for the cards. So for clouds specifically, the affirmation is: accept times of uncertainty, knowing that the clouds will eventually clear. And these affirmations that I wrote down are directly from the book, from this particular card deck. Okay, so let's go ahead and see about card number 2. So I know Britt has said that she has picked card number 2, and Rhonda said 2. Let's see, Heather was saying number 1. So yeah, Heather, let us know how this applies to you. I'm scrolling through your comments right now to see who else has picked what. But Debbie said she picked 3. So okay, so 2 right now for Britt and for Rhonda. All right, so let's go ahead and see. So card number 2 is the tree. And as I was mentioning earlier to you, so the traditional Lenormand deck usually just has one meaning. Kathy said she picked 2. Thank you. So usually it just has one. For example, the tree, usually there's just one tree. Or, for the woman, it's just one woman, or a man would just be one man. But this deck is kind of divided up into a more complex system, which is, again, is not necessarily the traditional deck, but I really like it, and I like the idea behind it. So tree in the traditional deck always represents health, represents strength, roots put down. And so this one here specifically with holly is very interesting. And I absolutely love holly, by the way. It's just such a beautiful one. I could spend hours just teaching you about holly because it's so complex and amazing. And I will briefly tell you tonight. And I wanted to see here real quick because Heather had a comment. So let's see. There's some unclear things going on about my work at this time. Thanks for sharing, appreciate it. And so this particular card number 2, the tree, holly. Again, it always, the tree has to do with health. It does have to do with setting down your roots, and specifically here in this case, because this is the winter time, perfect card for right now. So it has to do with hibernation as well, sometimes stagnation in a situation. And so kind of trying to decide, which way to go, but there's always a groundedness to it, of course, because it's the tree, so one of the most grounding things that we can do and hold for ourselves. And so very much about a rooting in as well, which again is very appropriate for the time right now where we're coming more into that space of going more inward and rooting in, connecting inward, and just allowing the space of that evergreen that's always there and that always has that quality of life to it, even in the dormant times, to be a dominant factor for us and throughout our life. And holly is one of those really beautiful trees that's kind of out of this world. It has a very etheric quality to it. So, Susan, hi. And Susan said she picked 2. Beautiful. I am so glad that you have picked number 2, Susan, and you're here. So I was just talking about holly being the tree of health. And again, it's the etheric qualities that holly carries. When you look at the beautiful texture in the fruit, it's very light. It has like this quality of just being created from spirit. You don't want to put it down and set it on the ground because it has such a beautiful, sensitive feeling to it, and very much kind of that spirit realm, even angelic qualities. And so holly, again, just know when you specifically picked this tree and holly, that it has to do with health, and it has to do with trusting that things are being taken care of and you are being held in this beautiful etheric realm with whatever that you have going on at this time in your life. And so taking time out, resting, taking a break, because again, it's this time of hibernation here. So it's literally just taking a break from the growth in the summertime and allowing ourselves that space to just sit and allowing ourselves to heal, allowing ourselves to get healthy and getting grounded and going more inward. This is very much what this card represents as a whole. And so again, let me know how this applies to you if you've picked number 2. And again, know that this is definitely the time to just do it and to honor yourself and to give yourself this break, of self-care and connecting in and allowing that hibernation to take place. And the affirmation, before I jump too far ahead, the affirmation for tree holly is, I rest and nurture my health at the level of mind, body, and soul. So again, if you've picked this card, and then even if you're watching the replay and you're not on live right now, please go ahead and let us know how this applies. I always read your comments, and I always try to still respond to your comments as well. So Rhonda is saying, I have been opening and working more in my Akashic records. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, curious to hear how you're tapping into your Akashic records. So nice to hear. Okay, so card number 3. And again, let me know and let everyone know if you have picked number 3. And also, again, if you've picked number 2, let us know how that applies to you. So card number 3 is the female rider. And again, this also has 2 different cards to it in this deck here. Let me see if we can zoom in on it. There we go. Okay, so the female rider. So the rider in general is always the person you can see, where she carries the mail. And so she basically goes from town to town and she carries everyone's information, communication with her. And so she also connects communities together too, because of course she's going from one community to another and kind of linking the energies together. So very much about the linking and the connection between people, movement, because, of course, she's riding on this horse. And so very much about communication, and then also about taking initiative and connecting a sense of community and news, and also change as well. So if you have picked the rider, and in case you're waiting for news, for example, then this will definitely come. Sometimes the news can also come in lessons that we might have, and also about letting go of certain expectations, because again, if we receive news, then usually there is an expectation that's set with it for one way or another of how we're expecting this news, first of all, to come in, and then what we would like that news to be. But no, again, just like with the card number 1 with the clouds, that sometimes if we're going through things, in this case, not so much going through anything, but just more waiting for a certain outcome or waiting to hear from someone, maybe, and also a sign that someone is maybe thinking of us, or someone will deliver a message to us. Again, trust that that message is going to be the right one and that you are being guided. And sometimes it can also be news from afar as well. So know that it always represents forward momentum, because of course, that's what this rider on the horse represents. It's that forward momentum in our life. So if you've felt stuck or stagnant, then this is for sure the card that brings that excitement and new energy and new momentum in, which again is perfect for the time right now with the waxing moon, especially this week, of really sitting, especially in the beginning of the week, sitting in the ideas of that you want to manifest, and then now it coming in. And by the way, if you are not on my email list, if you're not receiving my newsletter yet, my conscious newsletter, then please go ahead and subscribe, because I do put out a lot of value for you every week, where you can be guided through the moon phases and through the energy of the week, and a lot more as well. Let's see. So bringing it all together. But before I do that, let me go ahead and read about the female rider. And then also, let's see, I know Britt had a comment too. Yeah, 2 is spot on for me. Self-care and hibernation. Awesome. Sounds lovely. Yes, definitely. I think our bodies kind of know at this time what they should naturally do. And I just absolutely love it. Okay, so female rider. The affirmation is spiritual messages are on their way to me. So very simple. Spiritual messages are on their way to me. Okay, so bringing it all together tonight. So with the card number 1, we had the cloud. So this is more, going through a situation right now and waiting for the clouds to clear, and then also being somewhat comfortable with sitting in a certain amount of uncertainty and being okay with that as well, and knowing that you are going to fall into something beautiful again. And then taking some rest and reprieve, and knowing that the guidance is there, the support is there, because again, this is a very etheric tree. And it will always guide us into a very powerful direction of healing, because that's naturally what Holly represents for us. It grows in areas where it heals the ground, just to give you a little bit of an idea. And so it is a very healing tree, and one that can always be used to inform you, specifically with this card here, that health is a natural part of you that you can claim for yourself, and that you have within you already. And then the rider, new information, communication, connection, and bringing in a forward moving momentum in your life as well. So very exciting and dynamic cards today, and I hope that this will guide you in a really beautiful way, and I hope that this provided exactly the value that you would like and that you can use in your life today. And next week there will not be a Facebook Live because it is Thanksgiving, and so I'm going to be spending, Thanksgiving is the day after, but I'm going to be spending the week with my family. So I'm going to take a break next Wednesday evening, but I will see you the following week. And again, remember to share this out, and then also share the Intuitive Play post. So anytime you share, just write a quick note that you shared, because we don't necessarily see all the shares, but the ones we do, we add you for that month. We collect everybody's information who has shared, and we write your name down into a bowl. And then at the end of the month, once a month, I go ahead and do the drawing for a 30-minute session with me. And this is always a long distance online Zoom call where we either do a numerology reading together or I do a card reading for you. So again, this is always a 30-minute reading that you have an opportunity to win. And so you want to tune in to the last Intuitive Play of the month, which will be in 2 weeks. And again, no Intuitive Play next week to give you an opportunity to spend time with your family. And it's so amazing how quickly everything is approaching already. And then, of course, if you are not part of my Silk is Art community, please go ahead and join. And then again, as I mentioned to you before, go ahead and join my consciousness newsletter, because I do put a lot of value there for you. And I also create a blog post once a week now as well, with information as well. And then exciting thing that's coming up, and you can already find it on my website, which is my 5 days to activating abundance challenge that's going to be coming up on December 10th. So I'm really excited and hope to see many of you there. It's a free challenge, and it's one to really move you into a space of activating abundance in your life. So for the coming year, you're creating from a whole different perspective than you would have otherwise. So looking forward to sharing fun time with you on the challenge, and there will be more beautiful things coming as far as opportunities to work with me right after the challenge as well. And then again, we're in a waxing phase of the moon, so the full moon will be November 23rd. So again, be inspired during this time and see what you would like to manifest for yourself. So can't wait to see you soon. And let me see what Kathy said. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and read it quietly here for a minute, as you do as well. Okay. Oh, okay. I should stay and be grounded. Gotcha. Oh, okay. Okay, yes, we'll talk on Friday, Kathy. I love your insights. You're such a beautiful, deep person, and I always love talking with you, because I love how deep your introspection is and how you analyze. It's just wonderful. So yeah, always the question, should you stay or should you go? And of course, yeah, it's always about finding the balance, and just the more you practice connecting in with your guidance, the more clear everything will become. And then sometimes, just like with the cloud here, just sometimes to sit a little bit in the discomfort and be okay with it. I think that's really the biggest thing, to honor that, to know that this is just as natural a state for us as any other state that we experience in our life. So being okay with this, I think, is absolutely a wonderful thing for sure. And, seeing what comes up within that space. And that's kind of the fun thing about it as well. And finding the joy and finding the gratitude and the peace and the calm and the groundedness within that. And Debbie, you're absolutely welcome. Stay warm. Yes, for sure. Oh, thank you. And I appreciate you tuning in. And Britt, namaste. And yes, I am looking forward to December 10th as well. So can't wait. This is going to be a high vibe event, and I am so excited to be sharing this time and space with you. We're going to do Facebook Lives every day, and there's going to be a lot of challenge content for you every day to really challenge yourself into a new way of being and into a high vibe. So I will see you all in 2 weeks. And for those of you who are in Beauty Flourishing, I will see you at 7. We're going to talk about ancestors and our medicine bag this evening. All right, so take care and namaste, and appreciate you all. Bye.